Tell them what game mode you play. I'm a solo player. Are you sure you're not a trios player? No. 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 And why do you complain about balance? It's a game mode that I enjoy, and we shouldn't have to worry about balance from a scum like you. Yeah, you do, solo player. You really do. Yeah. Oh, shh. So you think Solos has made Dark and Darker a better place? Look at me. Look at me! You see, this is how crazy Solos has made Dark and Darker. You want balance in Dark and Darker. Solo and duo players must queue trios. Oh, and every day that you don't, I will delete a queue. Starting tonight. I'm a man of my word. Dark and Darker is in a downward spiral, boys. Thanks to the lead dev, Super Toddfather fan. What's your name? SDF. Can you spell it? SUPERDTODDFATHERFAN. The D is silent. I know. So, basically in this video, I'm going to try to unpack some of this madman's ramblings from the new Discord channel, SDF's Kitchen, and I will try to give SDF a solution to fixing Dark and Darker from the ground up. But before we really get into all of that, we will have to address some questions, some fundamental questions later on in the video after I dissect the SDF Kitchen ramblings. A lot of the problems I feel that Dark and Darker has are actually ground up identity crisis questions that need to be answered in order to move the game forward. And here we go. Dark and Darker's main issue is a identity problem.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
Let me explain what I mean by that. Here is a circle with all the players that would ever play an extraction game. I'm using monthly Tarkov players, as I think it's the best extraction game we currently have, as the average top out number that we would receive from this. And then here's a circle for all the players that would basically play a battle royale game, and we're going to use Warzone as the monthly top out players that would play a battle royale game on average on a quote unquote good game. And then we have people that play fantasy games, any sort of fantasy game, in another circle. And I don't have like a general metric. I just searched Google. And then here's the last circle, which is basically people that would play a hero shooter game. And for this, we're going to use Marvel Rivals as the example for top monthly players. Somewhere in these four circles lies the average Dark and Darker player. But I'm just using this as an example to showcase from the get-go, Dark and Darker is extremely limited into how much people you can get top out on this game for monthly average players. Okay? Once you niche down from a video game into an extraction game into a battle royale game that's also a fantasy game, which is also kind of like a hero shooter, we're always going to be down two niches no matter which two groups you. So these are some fundamental questions that like Iron Mace has refused to answer. In order for us to move forward as like a game, we have to figure out if this game is going to be a battle royale game, if this game is going to be a hero shooter game, or if this game is going to be an extraction game. Once you kind of narrow down what section or what genre you want to belong to, then you can answer balance questions far more easily. Now I'm going to kind of break down what I personally believe is the solution for the different avenues of game, whether it's a BR or it's an extraction. The hero shooter thing we can solve kind of with arena and whatnot, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Step one, if you're trying to make a battle royale game and you want this to be a battle royale, the step one solution to fixing all your problems is to make the game fun. For the love of God, the game isn't fun to play anymore. It used to be really fun when everyone was really shitty and you could just do whatever you want. Everyone is really good at the game. The bar has been set like way higher than it normally was. Obviously, 50% of the player base are still like normal players, so they're not as good. But I'm just saying, as a whole, the people that play this game have gone exponentially better than like playtest 1, 2, and 3. So like you have to recognize that. You got to make the game fun for them. You got to add way more cool stuff. That means mobs, maps, modules, bosses, sub bosses. You got to make stuff cooler. Like the way you interact with things need to be cooler. There needs to be like puzzles for rooms. There needs to be like way cooler loot. You need to be able to like kill a certain amount of things and unlock a special room, like all the other extraction games have. But you need to make that like part of the game. You need to just be doing cooler things. In Call of Duty, yeah, you get your loadout. That's a cool thing. In like Apex Legends, you find a cool piece of loot in a special crate, whatever, blah blah blah. You need to make the game fun. You need to make the loot cooler. The map, if you're playing a battle royale and you want it to be more of a royale style game, with some extraction sprinkled in, needs to be way bigger and there needs to be way more people on it. Way bigger, way more people on it. I know it's going to sound cringe. You might think that it's going to make you get like way more third parties and all that. I don't think that will be the case. If the map is big enough and there's enough players where it's not too full but it's not full enough, you need the map to be bigger and you need to remove the zone from the map. You keep the zone in the game if it's a battle royale, but you make it move way slower. You give people ample time to get out if you want to keep it extraction-y. If not, you limit the amount of stuff that people can do to get out. And then you really, 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 the most important thing is if we're gonna go to like battle royale, you need like a patch 69 style patch where the gear gap is squished. So it's more like you load in, you fight, you get out, whatever, you make a little bit of money. Your gear isn't as important. Yeah, the stats will matter. And yes, having a little bit of stats on gear will matter, which is kind of what SDF is trying to do right now. Um, but the stats will matter, but not as much. So you can just kind of go in and have fun really quick. Bing, bang, boom. You're in, you're playing, you're fighting, whatever. If you die, it's like, oh, it's kind of shitty, but it's not like, oh my God, I lost my crazy set. And now I feel like I'm back at square one. Contrast that, where if you want it to be an extraction game, you really, really, really want to, step one, make the game fun. Add more cool stuff. Crazy how that's like a common theme here. All the Dark and Darker problems, realistically, are from the game isn't fun and there isn't cool shit to do. Nobody cares about balance as much as they say they do when they're having fun. It's not fun to get camped on reds. It's not fun for people to run away. All that good stuff. That's step one. Make more fun. If you're making an extraction game, you need to make way, 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 way. Did I say it enough? Way more mobs. There needs to be way more mobs, and the mobs need to be harder, but not harder as in like it's a Thanos where I just instantly dying to some fucking skeleton axeman. I mean like harder as in they have different unique things to mobs, move sets and stuff like that. Crazy stuff that they do, but it doesn't instantly kill you. They just need to be more time consuming or interesting to kill rather than it just being like, oh, I instantly got killed because the Axeman 2 taps me. Okay? You need to make it way more explorative by adding more stuff like that. You need to make way more bosses, way more sub bosses, way more rare mobs. There needs to be like more bosses in the map, period. Like every map tile, like every like spawn of the map, you should have like 3 POIs with bosses at a minimum. And that's at a bare minimum. And doing bosses needs to be almost as lucrative as looting like a bunch of sub bosses. Okay. And I say this because the more POIs on the map there are, the less third partying there is, and the more of an adventure it feels, but you can still get PvP and do cool things if you're going to highly contested POIs, okay? Like that should be like problem number 2. Solve that problem immediately if you're trying to make this an extraction game, okay? Second is they need to stop making the game instance based forever, meaning like you load in and that's it. I know they try to change that up with continuous dungeon, but the problem with continuous dungeon is the game only has one set of instance mobs, and once they're dead, they're dead. You need to take the game failed because of cheaters, but you need to take the cycles approach, have the game session last an hour and then have it completely shut off after the hour is done. Find new ways to constantly be spawning in portals and not spawning in portals everywhere on the map. No zone, but you need to have it like the cycle where loot respawns, chests close, new loot is added, bosses respawn, mobs respawn, so that you can just go and do whatever you want. It doesn't need to be instanced ever. Okay? We need to get away from that. All right? You need to add way more gear to the game and way more gear with unique base rolls and have way more chances of finding class specific gear. There's nothing more annoying than when you're playing this extraction game, unlike Tarkov or one of these other games that revolves around shooting, where you pick up something and you can't fucking use it. It is mind-boggling that we have these gear restrictions because it's a PvP fantasy game, and like it doesn't make sense for a fighter to be wearing a robe or a wizard to be wearing a piece of gear. You need to either do that with luck, increasing your chances to find class specific gear, or you need to make it an inherent thing. But like when I'm looting the dungeon, I don't want to find an large amount of gear that I can't use. I don't know what the ratio will be, but you need to find way more class specific gear for the class that you're playing, okay? And the roles for gear needs to be way more unique. Like you need to have way more stuff like gloves of utility that aren't so bad that we can't use them, okay? I think regular interaction speed is another topic for later, but you get my point. There needs to be way more unique and interesting gear, okay? If you're going to make an extraction game, it has to feel like you're not finding the same piece of shit over and over. And you don't want to have to make your build around the same piece of shit gear over and over and over again. I don't know how this is taking so long, but they need to get on that immediately. Following all that, the next huge question that Iron Mace needs to answer is no matter what path you pick or what kind of game genre you're leaning towards more of, Iron Mace needs to answer another fundamental question, and that is what is the intended end game of this game? Like what am I supposed to be doing at the end of the game, okay? Like they really need to nail this. Am I supposed to be playing arena at the end of the game? Is that what you intended me to do? Because if it is right now, aside from like balancing issues and like lack of content, the game's cycle for the arena is the best it's ever been. Right now, you load into the game, you play all week or whatever, whenever you have time, you find the build that you want to do, you gem it to see if you can get it perfect rolled. If the gemming rolls fuck up, you use that set in the real game, and then you repeat the cycle infinitum until arena comes and you play arena all weekend, and then it's done. Okay. Ideally, arena would be expanded to be more of the game, but like I understand why they're trying to keep it on weekend because they don't think there's enough players, and probably there isn't enough players necessarily for the regular dungeon to be playing all week in arena. But you could have like 2 hours a day or something like that to compensate. But the player issue isn't arena's fault. The player issue is a fault of the game not being fun to play. Do they want the end of the game to be you focusing on bossing or like the environment or like PvE? If so, you got to add fucking 700 more bosses to the game. You got to have ways to make the bosses harder, and the bosses have to be harder by not being cringe with like a cringe mechanic where if you do Ghost King too fast now, you just fucking die to the scream stacks, or Lich, if you're doing it too fast, you just get 3 circles placed upon you, and you just fucking die. You need to make the bosses more interesting, harder, but not harder where it's like cringe harder, where you just die for free. And then you need to add way more of them, and they need to be like special things to activate them that don't cost a lot of money that you just get from playing the game normally. The boss summoning token thing wasn't inherently bad. The problem is nobody wants to spend $4,000 or spend fucking 4 hours trying to farm boss tokens to get third partied, okay? It's not good like that. If you're gonna do the boss summoning thing, you gotta have like 10 fucking bosses per map. You gotta have way more bosses per map so that you're not constantly getting PvP third partied, okay? And the last option is, do you want the end game to be dungeon in dungeon, not arena, in dungeon PvP? If so, you gotta make PvP more fun where people can't just run away. You gotta fix some of the door and door problems, some of the meta problems, the balance problems, stuff like that. But some of that goes in for all of them, but this is like really, really, really needs to be addressed. Modules need to be better to fight in, and on top of that, if it's in-game dungeon PvP, you need to be adding, like I said before, way more unique gear, way more cooler stuff. Eventually, you're gonna have to get into like, I don't know if I want to say like set armors and stuff like that, but you need to get like way more stuff that's like you looted for all this cool stuff, and now we're playing the cool, oh, I came across a mythical guy and he's got some crazy shit on, okay? Like that's how I feel endgame dungeon PvP is supposed to be solved. I talked about this before, but people don't care about balance as much as they say they do. They just want the game to be fun and rewarding. If the game is really fun and rewarding and you don't feel cheeseballed every single time that you die, then the balance really, really, really doesn't matter that much. This is the whole issue with solos and duos being removed. Solos and duos have the most players, okay? You've stated that a million times. Everyone inherently knows this. That's where the game is. If you can't balance the game around solos and duos, then you have a problem. The solution is not to focus on trios for your balance. The solution is to focus on the middle ground, which is duos. If something is broken in duos or really good in duos, I doubt it will be really, really overpowered in solos. Contrast that with trios. If it's kind of not the best in duos or it's like okay in duos, it's not going to suck balls in trios, okay? I don't know why we've had this like mentality of having to balance around trios. I don't know why we're trying to make this healer meta stuff work and buff ball comps work. It's not fun. Nobody likes to play against it. Only a few people like to play it. Make the game balanced around duos. That's it. But if we're going to talk about balance, there's some glaringly obvious issues that SDF can fix, okay? It takes like no time to fix these issues. Step 1, true damage needs to go. Everyone already knows this. Everyone gets it. I don't know why we're still talking about it. True damage needs to get out of the game. Period. It's done for both. As aside from that, move speed metas need to go. All attributes can stay as long as you're limited to 3. It doesn't really matter. It's not that big of a deal. And the way the current stat rolls are, all attributes is kind of trolling on some classes, so it's really not that big of a deal. If you limit it to 3, it's not bad. But the move speed meta needs to go. Stop letting people roll move speed on gear. Maybe entirely, but at a bare minimum, only on boots. Second, after the move speed meta needs to go, is door and door needs to be removed from the game. How do you solve door and door? It's very simple. Make all the doors double wide. All the doors have to be 2 times the size, okay? More than 2 players need to be able to fit through a door at the same time. Period. For every fucking module. I don't care how you fix it, you gotta fix that. And then the second issue is the doors need to be instantly opened and take longer to close. I don't know why this hasn't been figured out yet, but the solution to your problem is that you should always have the option to run, and I should never be punished for chasing you. You should always be able to open up doors instantly and run, but you should never be repeatedly closing doors in my face. It's boring and not fun to play against. The next portion of the door and door meta issue is every single fucking thing in the game needs to be unlinked from regular interaction speed and magical interaction speed. That means when I loot a horde and I'm playing Barb, it's the same time as me looting a horde for the rogue. If I'm closing a door, if I'm using a shrine, if I'm resing my teammate, it doesn't fucking matter. Everything needs to be the same time for everybody. If I'm popping bandages, if I'm fucking reloading, all that shit needs to be the same. All the regular interaction speed shit needs to be the same, okay? Like every single thing. And I mean reloading in the sense of like just like swapping my gear in and out, not reloading my bow because that's had the action speed. Another problem for door and door that needs to be solved is you need to stop letting people close doors from the side that they are on. So if you're trying to close the door and you're trying to squeeze through the door as it closes, that needs to be removed from the game. That gets solved with doors being open and closed instantly. Like a Minecraft door, every single time the door opens, it squeaks, and then it closes, squeaks, closes. No more of this fucking, the door closes and you sneak through it and you body block people. That's got to go out of the game immediately. Range damage needs to be hella nerfed. And I don't mean nerfed in terms of like straight up just reduce the values per se, but I mean like either 2 things. 1, range damage, i.e. projectiles in general, need to have a zone at which they do sour spot damage. I say sour spot as in just less damage when I'm close to you because I've defeated the purpose of your ranged class by getting in range. So it needs to be nerfed at close range, or they need to add projectile resistance to all gear and then you can stack projectile resistance. Range damage just needs to get nerfed. You already have way too much advantage at range, and then most of the range classes are also really proficient in close range with spells and stuff like that. So that stuff needs to like be completely gutted and reworked. I don't know how they're going to do it exactly, but those 2 ways that I mentioned solve a lot of the problems for a quick sweeping change, and then you just change it and you test it and it's done. The next thing that needs to be looked at is blocking. Blocking needs to be fixed. but it also needs to be way less punishing for attackers to hit a shield, and shields need to be giga nerfed. The shields in this game are huge fucking overpowered stat sticks. The benefit you get from having a shield is you blocked an attack and you didn't take damage. Shields should not be buffing your attacks. Shields should not be giving you move speed. They should not be giving you crazy amounts of additional armor. The reward for holding a fucking shield in your hand is that you blocked an attack and you didn't take damage. And I also think, personally, that if we're going to do that and make it less punishing on attackers, we should also kind of make it less punishing for defenders. So, like, you can't, like, perma stagger someone per se unless you're, like, using a really high impact power weapon. But, like, aside from that, like, we need to make shields way less punishing for both players. And if you didn't know, because some people, it's not mentioned anywhere, in the last patch that they did, the last big patch for this season, if you clank a wall or hit a shield, you are now slowed significantly more than you ever were before. And if you're hitting a fighter shield who has counterattack, now you're slowed and he has like a million move speed and action speed. So it's like ultra cooked versus fighters. It just needs to be fixed entirely. Make the shields better so they're blocking more consistent, but nerf the fuck out of them once they're working properly. This also goes for like stat sticks in general. So like lanterns get no fucking rolls on them, dude. No lantern rolls. Okay? I'm holding a lantern. I don't get one weapon damage. I don't get action speed. I don't get move speed. No more stat sticks in the game. Stat sticks need to leave the game. The perks of using a lantern should be it fucking gives you some fucking light, dude. That's it. Nothing else. Okay? Then we get on to Invis. Invis at a bare minimum needs to be Predator or Halo style Invis where it's a shimmer. If not, entirely removed from the game. Invis is cheesy. It's not fun to play against. Nobody likes it. It's dumb. Get it out of the game. If you have to give Wizards some other stupid fucking move speed skill because they lost one of them, I don't care. Get it out of the game. Whatever it is, you got to get it out of the game. Invis is so bad for this game, it's retarded. Especially in a game like an extraction game where first hit advantage is like the biggest thing in the universe, there should never be invis in any game that has a distraction label on it. Okay, it just doesn't make any sense. Extraction games are all about first hit advantage, right? And the last point is healing in general needs to be nerfed to the fucking floor. If you're gonna balance for trios, which I prefer that you don't, you need to nerf healing to the floor because healing is boring. It's unfun to play against. I don't care if you're a healer or not. It's boring to play against. Nobody likes to deal with it. It's cancer. The healing needs to be nerfed to the floor. You got to cut it all the healing in half. Like at a bare minimum, cut it all in half. Maybe you can keep some of the stuff in there and change it so where like the heal is like a heal minimum and then like slow overtime heal afterwards, but all healing needs to be like removed. I shouldn't be wailing on somebody with a fucking unique Bardiche or Wormhole and having them heal through it, dude. It's not fun. It's just so boring. And the anti-heal options in this game are limited and boring to use. People are using Famine. Nobody wants to use Famine that's actually using Famine. They're just using it because they're sick and tired of healing, okay? Like, it's just boring. So get that shit out of the game. Then we got to do one more thing, which is we have to update quality of life things for the game to succeed. Okay, there's a lot of quality of life stuff that should have been fixed a long time ago, but we got to do it like pronto. Okay, step one: expand the expressman for the love of God. Make it fit an entire kit in the expressman. Why am I being forced to choose what loot I want to find? Okay, we don't have to have loot for everybody. You don't have to be able to kill like 40 people and get 40 people's kits, but I should be able to fit an entire person's kit in the expressman and go down a level and get another kit from somebody else without having to like drop shit on the ground. Okay, it's just boring. Make all two-hander weapons 1x5. Okay, the spear and the Bardiche are practically the same weapon. Why is the spear 1x5 and the Bardiche is 2x5? It makes no sense. Reduce the amount of like stash space required for these things. I know I'm a little bit biased because I'm a bard player, but like why is a fine cuirass, which is exponentially more armor than let's say a piece of cloth, not take up more space than my two-hander takes for a one-hander? It doesn't make any sense. We're just like artificially making the game cringe because of stash space. Just fix the stash space, normalize it across everything. All one-handers, including daggers, are 1x3. All two-handers are 1x5. Okay? We're just got to make it normal. Okay? Yeah, make the map readable. The map needs to be way more readable. Like, I don't understand why the map is so unreadable. when I look on Goblin Town for the fucking boss, for the troll boss on Goblin Caves, there should be a giant fucking marker that tells me, hey, this is where the boss is. Secondly, if I've been in the dungeon 700 times and I haven't died, why is my character so retarded that he didn't write down what room I'm in? So when I look at the map, the room is labeled. Why am I having to leave the fucking map, leave the game to wiki to get information? Following that, all the fucking stat information and all the stuff on the wiki, in-depth info, needs to be immediately ported to the game. I shouldn't have to leave the game to figure out what luck does or what dexterity does, how much it affects my character, what it's doing. I shouldn't have to leave the game to find out that like after 25 dexterity, you get more action speed per point of dex that you get until you hit 50. All that needs to be in the game immediately. It should take 2 hours. It's just you're literally porting the wiki. You can even have it open up a browser link in the game. I don't give a fuck, dude. Figure it out. Since we're on the topic of this, since we basically stole the game from Nexon, okay? Steal more stuff. Steal the Marvel Rivals hero selection screen for our hero selection screen. When you pick Barbarian and you go to the class skills and you hover over Rage, there should be a video and a description telling you what Rage does, so you can see it working in game. Then there should be one for every skill. And then you should, based on the skill that you picked, it should give you suggestions. Hey, when you use Rage, you want to use Rage and Reckless, or you want to use Rage and this skill. You need to have the Marvel Rival style skill descriptions from the hero screen in this game. I don't know why we're making it so hard for new players to get into this fucking game, dude. It's ridiculous. Yeah, fix the fucking quest redeem thing. It's still bugged. I don't know why. You said you fixed it 100 times. You haven't fixed it. I have an empty inventory and I can't redeem the quest. It's just getting annoying, bro. Figure that out too. Like, remove gold from quests or something, okay? I don't give a fuck what you do. Whatever the thing that's causing the issue, fix it. The inventory sorter needs to be in the game, or at least an inventory search function so you can search for stuff in your inventory. That should have been in the game in a long time ago. Revert the merchants, make the merchants sell you good gear. Stop making people, you want people to not use the market, make the merchants sell legendary gear with random rolls or like shown rolls. Make the merchants actually give me money for the gear that I'm selling. Why am I selling my 80 gold legendary helmet on the to the vendor when I could sell it for 500 gold on the market? If you make it worth 500 gold in the vendor, people won't put so much shit on the market. Only good stuff will be on the market. Let me get people back in the dungeon. Make the merchants better. And then, yeah, gob recovery. Yeah, the goblin recovery needs to be for all tiers and all matches. There's nothing more annoying than dying to some crazy cancer where everyone loses their kit and then the gear is just deleted forever. There's already not enough good gear in the game as it is. We shouldn't be limiting the gear for no reason. If you die to something cringe or by accident or you AFK or something stupid happens, you should always have a chance to get your gear back. I don't care if they make it some gear, but not all gear. I prefer all gear, but like there's no reason to not have goblin recovery because some people just actively grief you for no reason or stream snipe you or whatever. And I don't think it's fun for anybody to just get like punished because somebody decided to be a jackass and like not let anyone get out and ruin the game for everybody because they had less expensive gear. It's just boring, okay? And then yeah, the last thing is this is just like a weird thing, but and it doesn't affect a lot of people, but like for arena right now, the top 100 warlord thing is completely fucked. You need to remove multiple accounts or multiple characters from one account from warlord ranking. They should still get the points, but they should only be awarded one character in warlord so people can really get a good idea of like what classes are performing well in arena and so that more people have a chance to get the warlord rank without expanding the warlord pool. I would be fine if they expanded the warlord pool to say like 20 top 25 per class, but like if you go on the fucking warlord or the arena and you look at the warlord leaderboard, like it says there's 100 players, but really there's like 35 players in warlord because multiple people have like more than one character at warlord. I have 2.5 barbarians. One of them just fell out of warlord. Chili's got 2 barbarians. Eshok has like 5 rangers, dude. Like, what are we doing, man? Like, just let other people have a chance to get the reward by allowing those players to have multiple characters with high ranking so they can play with their friends when the time is like right, because that's why people are making other accounts, because once you get too high it takes a long time to queue, so people make other accounts to play. Just let them have those accounts, but only give one of them warlord. It's not very hard. Anyway, bottom line is nobody cares about how much balance the game has as they think they do. People are really just freaking out about balance because the game isn't fun. Once they're distracted by the fact that there's nothing fun to do, they're just going to start nitpicking at things that really aren't that big of a deal. Right now, there isn't really anything cool to do in the game, in the real game. There isn't any honor in killing some guy who's naked as a Timmy in High Roller, which is what you forced upon most people now because they can't play normals. There isn't any fun in getting kited or getting one shot. There's no fun for people to camp reds and then leave when they're in any danger, or to camp blues. There's a million issues that need to be fixed for this, but like the main problem with your game, SDF, is that you decided to make it not fun. You have to make the game fun. And I think the reason why the game isn't fun is because you're being selfish. You're making the game that you think you want to play, even though we know that you're not good at the game, because you self-reported that you only made it out of the dungeon 50 times in normal, or like 2 times out of 50 in normal when the Fog of War was in the game. Like, do you know how ridiculous that is, man? I'm not trying to be mean to you or anything like that, but that's ridiculous. 2 out of like 50 times just because of Fog of War. You're making the game that you think that you want to play, and you don't even want to play the game that you want to play. You have to give up the idea that you're making a game that you thought you were making, and you have to make the game that people want to play, or everyone is going to quit. Finally. Oh, yes. We figured out who's ruining Dark and Darker this whole time. Huh? It's me. Oh, it's okay. I've known the whole time. What? It's always been you, dude. It's always been you.